New at noon, what Ohio's Attorney General is saying about a rape case that has a small town divided. Plus, where these Ohio National Guardsmen are heading after saying goodbye to their families today. And a promise from one of Ohio's top elected officials, what he is saying about the timeline for DNA lab results. 10 TV News at noon starts now.
From Central Ohio's news leader. New, fresh, up to the minute. You're watching 10 TV News at noon.
A Central Ohio town divided by a rape investigation involving two high school football stars. Good afternoon, I'm Tracy Townsend. Today, as the Steubenville case spends another day in the national spotlight, Ohio's Attorney General is promising answers. The alleged crime is getting extraordinary interest online after photos and other evidence went viral. Some of that material was uncovered by online hackers who are now being criticized as vigilantes. This photo has cast a pall over the Steubenville High School football team. It shows two of its stars, Trent Mays and Malik Richmond, carrying an underage girl who appears to be unconscious during a raucous drunken party last August.
They peed on her.
The girl claims she had no memory of her alleged assault until she saw posts online where people said something vile had happened to her that night.
That's like rape. It is rape.
Bro.
They raped her.
You know you do it? Bro.
They raped her.
On Twitter, many wrote that the young woman was not a victim. She was called a whore, somehow deserving of the assault.
So much of the information has gone up on the internet, and really what we're seeing is that the victim is being victimized day after day after day.
But the internet may have also helped uncover important evidence against the suspects. When those incriminating posts were quickly pulled down, members of the group Anonymous and other internet activists took up the cause and resurrected the online evidence.
We will not sit idly by and watch a group of young men who turn to rape as a game or sport get the pass because of athletic ability and small-town luck.
We're not going to leave this case until we're satisfied that everyone who is guilty of a crime or who we believe the evidence shows is guilty of a crime has actually been charged.
Since then, the story has gone viral. Now, a small-town crime is garnering worldwide attention. Richmond's attorney says the girl was not unconscious in the photo, nor was it taken where the rape allegedly occurred. He adds his client is now a victim, too.
Well, social media has hijacked the case. It's taken a city under siege, it's hijacked the case, and it's cemented a public opinion based upon false innuendo.
The alleged victim's lawyer told CBS this morning that the girl and her family wish to see justice served so that they can begin to move on with their lives. Mays and Richmond go on trial next month. And now new at noon, an emotional day for Central Ohio National Guard troops saying goodbye to their families. These members of the 174th Air Defense Artillery Brigade are headed to Afghanistan with a special mission assigned. They are prepared to train Afghan police as Operation Enduring Freedom continues in the Middle East. One National Guardsman says this is hard because he's leaving his pregnant wife.
It's really difficult being away from her, and that's the hardest part for me is leaving friends and family and definitely being away from our firstborn son.
Troops said their farewells during this send-off at Reynoldsburg United Methodist Church. Also new at noon, we have now learned gifts for soldiers found in a Hilliard dumpster will soon be shipped overseas. The gift boxes made by second graders at Liberty Christian Academy were found earlier this week. Still not clear how they ended up in the trash. The family who discovered them is teaming up with the National Guard and planning to mail them today. Police across the state are getting lab results faster when they ask the state to analyze evidence. This morning, Ohio Attorney General Mike DeWine announced that the Bureau of Criminal Investigation labs now average 20 days to analyze DNA from crime scenes. 2 years ago, that average was 125 days. He says the labs have made similar improvements in testing drugs, firearms, prints, and identifying criminals. He credits new staff and machinery for the improvement.
We've added a number of scientists, and so that is certainly number one. We have the robots that have come on fully online now. Rich had some of these robots already there, but they were not, because of time period, they just hadn't been worked in. Shows everything.
DeWine said that he also transferred money from other parts of his office to pay for the staff and for those extra robots. Police are reviewing surveillance video from a Tim Hortons store in Northeast Columbus to see if they can identify an armed robber who hid overnight. It happened along Stelzer Road at around 11:30, in fact. Investigators say the man wore a hoodie and pulled out a gun at the drive-thru and demanded cash. He did get away. The clerk was not hurt. And on the north side of Columbus, police have arrested one man and they're looking for another suspect who got away after trying to break into a scrap metal drive-thru on Joyce Avenue. They say the two men set off an alarm, and that's when police arrived. One man was quickly captured. Officers chased a second suspect on foot, but again, he got away. Right now, some new information about the number of Ohio teachers signing up for a new gun handling program. There are now 765 applicants for a 3-day class aimed at training teachers in all aspects of gun skills. Nearly 40% of those who signed up are women. More than 50% represent high school teachers and staff. Representation from urban, suburban, and rural schools is nearly even. The Buckeye Firearms Association is launching that class. And now new at this hour, a downtown ramp is open after a multi-car crash forced it to be shut down this morning. It happened a little before 9 on 70 westbound at the 4th Street ramp. You can look at that. You can see it involved 4 cars. One person was transported to Grant Medical Center and is expected to be okay. State Route 161 near I-71 is also open again after being closed overnight because of downed power lines. This is the scene early this morning at around 3 o'clock. The driver of a car lost control off the exit ramp from 71 North to Route 161. The driver went off the left side of the road, hit a fence, and then hit a pole, dropping lines across 161. And again, those lines now cleaned up. The driver was not hurt. I can't believe I'm saying this, a potential warm-up for the weekend. Mike?
Timing would be good. I mean, it was a major warm-up this morning. We went from 0 in a few places, 9 in Columbus, to this. Everybody was in the 20s. So that's a pretty major step, more than 20 degrees as we went into the morning. It's 20 this morning in Delaware was the cold spot. 25 here in Columbus, a lot warmer than that 9 of yesterday, and 27s at Newark and Lancaster. They hit 0 yesterday, so only 27 degrees warmer this morning. So we had a milder morning. It's going to be more seasonable heading into the weekend. There's a possibility, although it's not a big one, for a few flurries here and there as well, especially late Saturday and early Sunday. What's helping us today is clearing skies. It started off very overcast, which kept us mild. Now the sun is out. Temperature just shy of 30 degrees. There's a bit of a wind chill, though. Feels like 16 with a southwest wind, about 18 miles an hour. Tomorrow, higher in the 30s, should get into the mid-30s, and well, I see some 40s in the not-too-distant future as well. I'll have details on all that coming up in your forecast.
All right, Mike, thank you. Several stories we are working on for you at this hour. A recall involving tens of thousands of vehicles. That's ahead at 12:15, plus what a new jobs report reveals. Also ahead in the Middle East, a historic rally held today by hundreds and hundreds of people swarmed the Gaza Strip as cameras rolled. Plus, the breakthrough for a Pakistani girl shot by the Taliban on her school bus. Right now, the 15-year-old Pakistani girl shot in the head by the Taliban for promoting girls' education has been released from a hospital in England to live with her family. Malala Yousafzai will live with her parents in the UK while she continues to receive treatment, but she will be admitted again next month for another round of surgery to rebuild her skull. Also overseas, tens of thousands of supporters of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas held their first rally in almost 5 years. The Fatah Party marched carrying banners, and top party officials arrived in Gaza. This was the first rally in the Islamist Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip since 2007. The rally reflects warming ties between the two rivals. Afghanistan says it has released some 250 prisoners formerly held by the U.S. in hopes that this will lead to reconciliation in the 11-year conflict. A Defense Ministry spokesperson says that 80 were freed from prisons across the country today, the latest of a total of 400 to be released this week. The released prisoners had been captured in operations against the Taliban and some other groups. And in Syria, activists say the Syrian military has bombarded the outskirts of the country's capital city of Damascus. A human rights group says warplanes bombed neighborhoods around the capital today. And overnight, At least 10 people died and dozens were seriously injured when a car bomb exploded. Opposition activists say people were lining up at a gas station when that bomb went off. And just into our newsroom today, new funding for Superstorm Sandy victims. Coming up, what it means for the people on the East Coast. Also ahead, why the fiscal cliff decision could delay your upcoming tax refund. Mike?
And it was cloudy out this morning, and that helped us a lot. But the sun's popped out. Take a look at our Doppler 10 weather bug camera up on One Nationwide. Blue sky over a snowy landscape there here at noon. Temperature still a little on the cool side. Marysville particularly at 22, 27 Blacklick, 29 at Lancaster here at noon, 30 at Hilliard, 31 at Groveport. That's looking up a little bit. Mid to upper 20s from Beaver Creek to Plain City and Powell. You got a 34 though in Coshocton. Nice. 31 in McConnellsville, Summit Station at 29. Take a look at your weekend forecast. Up and down. That's all coming up.
And this is just into our newsroom at this hour. Nearly $10 billion in flood insurance will soon be on its way to the victims of Hurricane Sandy. Congress has just passed the $9.7 billion National Flood Insurance Program. Danielle Nottingham joins us now from Capitol Hill.
The House passed a bill to send almost $10 billion in aid to Superstorm Sandy victims. The money will help those who filed flood insurance claims.
These are human beings, children that have been completely displaced.
Emergency bills like this should not come to the floor without offsets to pay for it.
Lawmakers from New York and New Jersey, where Sandy hit hard, were eager for today's vote.
Funds for Katrina was passed this House in less than 2 weeks. We have been waiting for 11 weeks.
Earlier this week, House Speaker John Boehner outraged lawmakers when he canceled an expected vote on a $60 billion aid package that the Senate had already passed. Now Speaker Boehner has scheduled a January 15th vote for the House to consider the additional $51 billion in recovery money. The relief cannot come soon enough for Staten Island resident Dominic Camerata.
I'm out of money. I'm at a standstill now.
Camerata claims the government has been withholding money that should have been given out weeks ago. Sandy hit hard in late October, causing widespread damage on the Jersey Shore, New York City, and Long Island. FEMA says more than $2 billion in Sandy relief has been distributed in 11 states and the District of Columbia. President Obama is expected to quickly sign the flood relief bill into law, and then checks can be distributed. On Capitol Hill, Danielle Nottingham, 10 TV News.
Sandy was the most costly natural disaster since Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Here in Ohio, you might remember the high winds toppled trees, power lines, and knocked out power to thousands of homes. Another $51 billion in relief for Sandy victims will be voted on next week. New at noon, the latest jobs report from the Labor Department shows that U.S. employers added 155,000 new jobs in December. That's about what economists did expect. The unemployment rate stayed at 7.8%. Hiring was strongest in manufacturing and home building. The hiring trend is steady but not picking up speed. Employers added an average of 153,000 jobs per month in the year of 2012. The same as the 2011 average. There is a Consumer 10 recall alert for you today. General Motors is recalling nearly 55,000 pickup trucks, SUVs, and vans because they can roll away unexpectedly. The recall affects certain 2013 models of the Chevrolet Silverado, Suburban, Tahoe, Avalanche, and Express. Also included are the GMC Sierra, Savannah, and Yukon, as well as the Cadillac Escalade. GM says the vehicles may have been built with faulty park lock cables or malformed steering column lock gears. If you have one, you want to go to our website to get the latest, 10tv.com. Tax refunds could be delayed this year. The problem is that the IRS cannot put out the 2012 tax forms until the agency knows what the tax policy is. But since Congress got the fiscal cliff deal done late, the IRS now has some scrambling to do. The agency has to reprogram its systems and issue tax forms based on the revised laws. That could delay the start of the tax filing season. So far, the agency hasn't announced when it will start accepting tax returns.
Now, a forecast to help plan your day. Here's Doppler 10 meteorologist Mike Davis.
And I heard Mike say he's looking at some warmer weather.
Yeah, it's all relative, though. I know.
Today.
Yeah, warmer. Yeah, it's going to be a little warmer. In fact, it's going to be a little warmer today than it was yesterday. And the morning was a lot warmer. That wasn't a little warmer. That was a lot warmer. 29 degrees out right now. You know what? We were 30 degrees at 4:25 this morning. So we've slumped a little bit since then, but the sun is going to perk us up a bit this afternoon. Unfortunately, unlike yesterday, we do have a breeze. Southwest winds at 18 give us a wind chill of about 16 degrees. So it's actually feeling pretty cool out there. Looks very, very nice, though. Already got a 30 at Grove City, 32 at Groveport and Gahanna, so things are looking up. Upper 20s for everybody else on the outer belt. Now, you go out into the counties. Delaware's still at 24, but that's basically where they bottomed out this morning. But it wasn't zero. Neither was it zero at Marysville or London. 26 and 28 right now. 32 at Circleville, 30 at Lancaster. So the day started off better. It's just not warming up a lot. It'll just warm up a little bit here this afternoon. Mid-30s at Portsmouth. You got a whopping 36, though, down at Cincinnati. 20s to the north from Findlay to Mansfield. 22 and 25 respectively, 30 over at Zanesville, 32 at Marietta. Here's what's happening. Skies are clearing out. That's good for the start of the weekend. However, it'll be colder tonight than it was this morning with the clear skies. We're probably going to be well down into the teens, at least not down in the single digits again the way it was. You look at the planner for the afternoon, you've got 31, should get up to 32 or so this afternoon. 3 o'clock, we've got some sun. Evening, we're seeing partly cloudy skies, and overnight we go back to clear, mostly clear, temperatures falling back through the 20s and again into the teens tomorrow morning. For a sense of what's coming our way, here go the clouds out, so nothing really descending from the north. The next little batch of moisture and clouds is going to be this one rising up out of the south. So we should start off nice and clear tomorrow morning. As the day goes on, clouds are going to roll in. There's a very slim chance for flurries late tomorrow and going into Sunday. But for the rest of the afternoon and into the evening, model looks pretty good. So for your evening commute, it's going to be all nice and dry. But with the temperatures still, the sun is helping, but with the temperature still below freezing, some roads out there could still be a little slippery. As far as tonight goes, we drop down into the mid-teens, clearing skies and colder, a light southwest wind lightening up from where we are this afternoon, maybe 5 to 10 miles an hour. Into tomorrow, it starts